Hello everyone. So right now we want to give you ideas of why are we like doing Qigong? Why have we been so focused on it for a very long time? And as many of you know, the health and performance has been our focus for as long as we've been basically almost training. And what is the role that Qigong even plays in it? Because there are certain things in Qigong that are very unique, things that it offers that are unique that you cannot find from anywhere else. This is kind of what we want to give you more like a clear idea of what are these benefits, what are these unique features in it. Because I know there are some people who get it, who kind of like, okay, yeah, this is good stuff. But there's also many people who are not very familiar with this Qigong because it comes from the East. And in East, the philosophy, the way they conceptualize things, the whole world view is so different. And so when we come to talk about energy or talk about chi or meridians or the flow of energy, it necessarily doesn't really resonate with some of the people. So I want to give you like examples of what does it really actually mean to do Qigong. What does it give to you in general?
So yeah, like with the East and the Qigong practices, it's like they have like a completely different framework, like how they think, how they see the body, and how they see movement, and almost everything. So in the West, we have the scientific viewpoint, which is like completely different. So that's why people should focus more on the results and the benefit they get from the exercise, and not so much on the like the reason or the explanation, because like in the West we have the scientific explanation why something works, but in the East they have the Eastern explanation. But if you practice the different methods, like the Eastern methods, you can clearly see they work. And now, like in the last maybe 10 years, maybe last 20 years, the Western worldview has started to like prove everything that has been like practiced in the East for a very long time, for thousands of years. Like nowadays, everyone knows like meditation is good for mental health and for even for the body. And now, in the recent years, also everyone knows like breathing is very good for the body.
And it's been proven like really like through studies.
Yes, and also fasting. Like nowadays, if you go search the studies, you can see like you can like regenerate your entire immune system in 3 days by just fasting. So all these ancient old methods, like 20 years ago, everyone was thinking, woo woo, it doesn't work, it's like some nonsense, there's no scientific proof, there's no evidence. But in the last 10, 20 years, there's lots of evidence, even from the Western point of view. But in the East, they have always believed in this. Like if you go to Taiwan or China, they still use the Chinese medicine like it's like the absolute truth. Like even in Taiwan, all these methods, everyone knows they work. But in the West, we are still like, what is this? This is but now it's has started to change.
Yes, like I think, and they trusted in the results. It was never a question of that you need to know exactly what mechanics or what are the chemicals or molecules were there. I think it's fine, like if you want to have this information, but especially for me, the most important is what I'm feeling in my body, the results that I can feel in my body when I do this exercise. Like it's secondary for me to know exactly what it is or to get the sort of like approving from somewhere outside. So because I've been training Qigong and I can notice these things even in my own body, and it's very almost intuitive. It makes sense. Like breathing, breathing is in the center of Qigong. It's been in the center of the Qigong practices for like thousands of years. And if you think about it, that's the central also system in our body that even keeps us alive. And so understanding that creates, or when you do consciously breathing or even manipulate your breathing styles, that has an impact in your whole body and everything in there, all the systems that are going on in your body. It just makes sense even without if you didn't know it in more detail. So this is like was also the main thing for me, that was the benefit, was actually getting a conscious control of it. Because the breathing is funny in that it's at the same time it happens automatically in your body. It's like unconscious. you just, it just happens because it keeps you alive, but you can also take conscious control over it, and this way you can affect or manipulate certain things and effects in your body. You can affect how your hormonal production, you can affect your neurotransmitters and all this kind of stuff that is very internal, that usually people thought that this even could not be affected, or in the Western world it is believed so, that this couldn't be affected. And I think this brings us to a trend that is also in the Western worldview, which is that you cannot naturally really do things. You cannot naturally boost her performance a lot. You cannot naturally change the way you feel. But you always need some sort of a drug or medication or a stimulant or something to actually have these sort of effects on your body. Whereas I think in the East it has always been very clear that you can actually very naturally, through affecting your lifestyle, through impacting on what you're eating, you can actually have profound changes in your body. So you don't need to rely on something external that is out of your body.
That's like the big difference between the East and the West, because nowadays like the East, like we are talking about the ancient East, not like the current East. Yeah. Because even like today they are focused a lot on the scientific Western medicine as well, all the like the medicine. But that's the big difference, because nowadays a lot of people, especially in the Western world, they think the top level performance is only attainable through drugs and performance enhancing drugs and supplements. Like they think, I must take creatine, I must take steroids, I must take this supplement and this supplement, and then somehow that way you get the top level performance. But these people don't know that 100 years ago, none of this stuff was even available, and some of the guys back then, they looked like super strong, super muscular, and they had like
ripped, lean,
and lean and ripped and so on, and top level performance. Like nowadays, these people think like if you want to get low body fat, you have to take the fat burners. Or like
what is the where they like suck the fat out? Like I don't know what it's called, but like it's
liposuction.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, like for everything, there's like some magic gimmick that works. But likewise, that's like how people nowadays think, and they like cannot even fathom that you can do the same naturally, like without any medicine, without any external like hormones or anything. And that's what that's one of the part of why the Qigong is for. It's to naturally like improve your health, performance and longevity, and without like anything else. Maybe some natural remedies like herbs and tea and so on, but mostly through the breathing, fasting, and the different postures and movement forms and different ways to like control your energy and so on. So, and we believe that as well, like 100%, like we are not using anything, like no drugs, no supplements, no hormones, like nothing. Like we focus on 100% on just the natural methods. Like I haven't used any pills, like any medication for over 3 years, not even like ibuprofen or paracetamol, like nothing. And I feel better every year. And with these methods, when you try them, like you don't have to know like what's the reason behind, because once you try them, like when you feel very stressed and then you do some like Qigong and then you do some breathing exercises, you will immediately after the practice notice, and during the practice notice that okay, the stress level is like going down like this, and then you feel much better. Like it's like you just have to try it, and like that it's, you know, it works, and you don't need to have like any studies to prove it works. You don't have to like know why it works. If you just try it and feel the effects, then it works. Like why not?
Yeah, I mean the thing maybe what helps some people to understand is like if you still think that it's something magical, because even if you do a regular exercise, I mean any form of nearly exercise that makes you breathe, breathe faster, increases your breath rate, it increases your blood flow, it does a lot of things, and everyone knows if you do regular exercise, you usually feel good because there's endorphins and such, it makes the lymph, whatever, move there. So it already does, a regular exercise does plenty of good things, because it already causes these things to happen in your body, like the breathing or deeper breathing sometimes. So the difference that I sometimes think like that goes to Qigong is that it's just much more conscious. So if regular training makes you breathe, many people actually have very dysfunctional breathing patterns, for example, and it's not necessarily so good for the health. But in Qigong, they actually know precisely how you should breathe, and they do this in a very like a sort of conscious manner, controlling it. Like I was explaining about the breathing, that it can be unconscious, but there's also a way to do it consciously. And even in Qigong, the method is called the breath of mental power. This is the most fundamental breathing method that is inside Qigong, the breath of mental power, which also we cover in these Qigong courses. And even the name tells, like mental power, you're actually using your conscious mind to do this breathing. So in Qigong, it's just, they figured out these very clever ways to focus directly on this health and regeneration and vitalizing part of the exercising. And so Qigong really, like, we don't even call it like really workout, because it's not a workout as something else where maybe you want to grow this or that muscle, or you want to do it for external reasons, but it's more of just it's like well it's an energy practice in a way that they call it, which kind of brings us to also the term, it's the Qi, which many people are so unfamiliar with. But energy, like everyone feels energy throughout their day in different ways. Like sometimes you feel fatigued, you cannot focus and so on. It's very everyday feeling. And other times you're very alert, like you can focus, things just go smoothly onwards, you have energy, like you spontaneously go, you want to train. So you already know these sensations of energy in your body. And Qi represents in the Eastern world this sort of energy, this life energy that gives you, causes you to do things. And in Qigong, actually, you're trying to gather it just more, even more than for your daily needs. Like, so there's always, when there's something that's very foreign concept, there usually you can find something that makes it more familiar to understand. I think for more like Western people or from the Western cultures.
Yes, like with like everyone knows, like vitality is a real thing. Like some people are just like really, like they look strong, they feel strong, they're healthy, and so on. And also, like everyone knows energy is real, but it's like quite hard to measure, like, because it's the whole system, it's the whole body, it's the whole being. So that's why it's for like many Western methods, it's hard to like prove with studies and so on, because it's so holistic and so whole about yourself when it comes to that thing. But yeah, the big difference between like, because like Qigong is not like working out, it's not for like, it has some parallels, like some similarities, but mostly they're like two separate things. Like you work out to get stronger and so on, like directly work the muscles and like build performance in like certain area of fitness and so on. But Qigong is more like internal, like you focus on the health of your body, the vitality of your body. And what does it mean? It means like lowering the inflammation. It means like improving your hormones and the endocrine system. It means like improving your body system as a whole, like improving performance, like from the internal point of view, not so much from the external point of view. Because if you work out, you get better at doing push-ups, and then you run, you get better at running. So you get better at this really specific thing. But in Qigong, it is like performance enhancing like method, but it's all natural. It's for the same purpose as the supplements, as the performance enhancing drugs, but it's all natural and it's all healthy. And and especially in the long term, it's the best, because these Western methods, of course, they improve your performance if you take drugs and so on. In the moment, your performance goes up. But how about in 10 years, 20 years, or 50 years? Then it's start to show the real truth, like what is actually good for you and what is not.
Yeah, exactly, because it comes down to this stimulation. You know, for all people, almost it makes sense that you can affect it through like stimulants like the coffee, you can maybe to boost up your energy level and alertness. Some people then again have something that calms them down. And there's also pills for everything basically. And so you are already, or many people are trying to manipulate these things in their body, but the Qigong for us is it's the alternative method. It's like the natural method, by taking control over these natural systems in your body, through which you can already affect these things, like you can even affect your digestion, your relaxation, the energy that you have to talk about. You can affect this sort of the heart rate, the breathing rate, all of these things that you can affect through Qigong. You don't need to, and many people, they really try to find these sort of unnatural methods for it. And it's good to remember, like when I think about, for example, what is a doctor supposed to do? Is supposed to restore, if it's a good doctor, he's able to restore the balance in the body. And Qigong is all about this harmony. So they're trying to restore a harmony and a balance in the body. And a lot of the times when you try to restore this balance through using maybe a medication or some pills, it will do this for a period of time, but also on a superficial level, because you are restoring the balance by just masking the symptoms. But you're not fixing the underlying thing, which is your lifestyle, which is the way you just be and live, which is causing the problem in your body. You're not addressing it. You're just kind of trying to correct the symptom or cure the symptom. So of course it will work for a period of time, but as you go on, you will notice that the balance that you've created, you've restored the balance, but it will suddenly start to be completely messed up, because you just were like masking with the symptom and you didn't correct underlying things in your lifestyle that maybe go worse and worse over the years. So we need to always think about this really, as someone was talking, in the long term. You will start to see what really matters. And this is also, I think, what really draws me into it. So it's looking at the future and how it affects.
Yeah, in Qigong, like the long age is one of the tests of your Qigong knowledge. Like if you can live up to 90 years old, 100 years old, then your Qigong methods definitely work. But yeah, like I think 90% of medication people take, they shouldn't take. Or it's mostly like that, like people live in very unhealthy, unsustainable ways. Like they eat crap, they don't move properly, they don't sleep properly, they take all kinds of stuff they shouldn't take, and then to keep feeling okay and feel good, and to keep feeling good, they start taking the medication and other drugs, and so that they can keep on living the way they shouldn't live in the first place. But the Qigong is different because it doesn't mask the symptoms like Eero said, but it goes to the root cause and gives you power to like control all this, like the internal root systems. So you can actually get better for real and not for just mask the symptom with this.
Yeah, so one of the main things that at least I think was beneficial for me is the awareness that it gives. It increases the awareness of your body so much, because you actually start, like this was already like to be aware of, for example, in our training, like we are aware of, for example, posture, the muscle, which muscles we're training, the mind-muscle connection. There's already internal elements there, and something that relies completely on the awareness of what is going on in your body, the different articulations and everything. But Qigong brought a completely new perspective on this as well, which it's the internal world. Like we also talk about, we compared, okay, we have this more external thing, but then Qigong brings this another world which is completely internal, controlling of the diaphragm, other internal muscles there, and understanding really these molecules or whatever systems, these transmitters, the hormones, really these endocrine systems or immune system, like being able to affect this internally is a completely another level, and being even aware that you can do that, and understanding, being aware of more of your mental states, because through Qigong you can actually even manipulate and change how you're feeling and your different moods, for example. So this is one of the key things and benefits of the Kims is it's an increased awareness and perception of what is going on.
Yeah, but yes, like by studies, it has been proven that different postures affect the human physiology very differently. Like if you take like a strong posture, like power pose, the testosterone levels go up and cortisol levels go down. So, but this is something in the East, in the Qigong, they have known for a very long time, for centuries and for maybe thousands of years, because they have like different postures and different stances that target the body chemistry in very unique and very special ways. And it's even hard to like explain it before you actually try it. But there are like different postures that really calm the mind and really calm the body. You stand in this posture for long periods of time and you immediately feel like a really strong effect in the body, in the mind, and everywhere. But then there are also like different postures where you take a more like aggressive fighting like a posture, and immediately you notice like, wow, like my testosterone levels, my focus and clarity is instantly almost like increased, and you immediately feel like now I'm like mentally and physically I'm ready. And then you practice further and further and you just get better at it. And then there are also like the four ends different practice where you really like cultivate the rage, like really get you're really learning to how to control your emotions. And of course you can control your emotions to drugs as well. Like when you take like MDMA, you feel like super euphoric and happy. But the same way with posture, with breathing, and with different Qigong methods, you can also control your feelings. And this is a powerful thing.
Yes, like the four ends you mentioned, because you control contraction of the muscles, you control, for example, your facial muscles, you're controlling your breathing, and all of these different things in order to cause a certain stimulus into your body. And in Qigong, like what someone was talking about, for example, so you can cause this aggression, this rage, or this like energy come out of your body. And in Qigong, there's like a term that they use, for example, is fire, which first, if you just hear fire, it doesn't tell anything. But when you put it into perspective here, of like really just raising up this heat in your body, it's like a alertness and focus on all of this. And then in Qigong there's another term, which is the water, which again refers to the more calming, serene thing, which is a lot in the standing meditation, for example, in the grand circle, which is standing meditation method, to which it really can calm you down, or the monkey Qigong that you're also doing. So you have actually these two roads, main roads in Qigong. You have water road and you have the fire road, or water path, sometimes called fire path. And for example, for me, it refers, if you look at like the Western medicine or something, and you can find, for example, we have the nervous system, this autonomic nervous system that is thought that it's like not in our control. It's sort of like involuntary unconscious action. And it contains these two parts, like sympathetic nervous system, which is kind of really stimulates, or it increases your heart rate, it increases your pulse, it increases your breathing rate, it just really makes you alert. And then you have the other part, which is the parasympathetic nervous system, which then again calms you down. It causes the digestion to happen more. It stimulates the digestion, your regeneration. So you have these two counterparts in the Western like scientific medicine and worldview. And then in Qigong you have the fire and the water, which also like it's like they are directly trying to stimulate either water sometimes or the fire in the body through these methods, through posturizing yourself, through imagination, through contraction, relaxation, through these different things that are all at your like fingertips. You can use them immediately really need the effect of some of these things is very immediate. How you can feel them in your body, and like somebody also said, the effect of, for example, the posture on the release of hormones, it's already proven, and it is something that these Qigong masters have known for thousands of years, for centuries, and these methods.
Yeah, like for the Western way of thinking, like when we talk about fire and water, it's like what is this?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, like when you have lots of energy and lots of aggression and lots of just like you're like, now I'm ready, now I want to work out. Then you like immediately, like this is fire, like this is it's exactly what they mean. And likewise, when you're relaxed and when you're calm and when you feel like very serene in the mind and so on, and that's water. And if you are as a whole, if you are like all the time like ADHD, you don't have any attention to anything, and you're like many in the West today, because they take all kinds
euphoric and
overly euphoric and all the time like not in control. Then in Qigong they think like you have too much fire, and it probably because of your diet and because of what you're doing all the time and because of your breathing techniques and so on. So they think, okay, this guy he's a bit crazy, so we need to bring him down by adding some water, and then it's balanced. And this is like, it makes perfect sense, and it's because it's just like a different way of labeling things, different way of saying things. But if you actually understand what they mean, then it makes like a perfect sense, and it's very easy to understand as well, because they didn't hide behind like very complicated words and so on. But that's why it's also for the Western studies, it's hard to because in person if someone is like a bit crazy.
Yeah, you can sense it like very clearly, but you can't measure it.
Yeah, it's hard to measure, but even today, like nowadays, like the psychologists and psychiatrists, they are like measuring, okay, this guy is too much energy, but even that is like kind of like hard to say, because it also depends on the environment you are in, because many school kids, they're getting like the medication because they cannot sit in their classroom, but maybe they shouldn't sit there in the first place.
Yeah, but like the point is like you can find these, even though the words and the concepts are very different, sometimes they use, and but you can still, when you look deeper, like beyond the actual words, and you look at the symptoms and the things that are happening in the level of the body, then you find the similarities. But we are just talking about them in different words, different terms. Emphasis is also different, of course, and I think like usually in Qigong, for example, fire and the water, like I compared it to the nervous system. But in Qigong also, even though you can look at the similarities there, the fire and water, but in Qigong they're still more broader, because they contain, like the fire is such a big element, like it really, everything is there, like that represents fire. Your move from your mood to this, it's like they're really wide and holistic concepts that are used in those methods. So it requires kind of a different brain even to think about it. And I think this is also such a useful thing that comes from it, because you start to just see things relate to each other in such different ways. You're better able to analyze yourself and why are things happening in your life the way they are, because you just see it from such a big you see the bigger picture sometimes better, like this way.
Yeah, because that's very important that you bring these different perspectives together, because both of them have their benefits, pros and cons. Like when it comes to Western medicine, if you have like tumor here, it is the best, you just get the surgery and then it's out, and then you're gonna recover, very likely. And likewise, if you have like a very pinpoint problem that needs to be fixed, then you can just fix it. It's best for that. But when it comes to like longevity and like the long-term health, then in that regard, the Eastern method, the Qigong, it's just so much better, because it's actually good for your health now, and it's good for your health in the next day or tomorrow. I mean.
Exactly, and like going back, for example, all these mechanics that in Qigong they're doing this, like they really have we've been talking about really the sort of exercising. Okay, we have the actual exercises, the movements, the standings, the breathing, but in Qigong, so then they have or we can talk about even Chinese medicine, that they have the herbs, but then there's also the diet, but then another thing that they also try to affect this body and the hormones is basically the sexuality. So by controlling your sexual behaviors, for example, this is the semen retention for males. So this also comes to like controlling your sexuality, not letting that be, because sometimes, for example, if you have too much fire in the body, your sexuality can be also out of hand. And you're doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing. You're consuming a lot of pornography and very, very negative influences in your body. So this is also one thing that Qigong brings, and it's actually a very important part of Qigong. And even in this course that we have, to really cause certain effects in your body, and energizing the body as well. And this, I think, is also like there was the studies, for example, that when you avoid ejaculation, you're increasing, like within a week, you're increasing the testosterone in your body, like many times.
47.5% or something like that. But yeah, because I think when we released that 100 days of Qigong and semen retention can lead to enlightenment and so on. But I think a lot of people were shocked because I think a lot of people, like according to some studies, like 90% of men are addicted to pornography and masturbation. So of course, most people will be shocked that they cannot do their thing like every day and so on. But here's a revelation for you, like neither me or Eero, we haven't watched any pornography for I think something like over 3 years.
Yeah, a little over 3 years.
Yes, and in Qigong we are not like advocating celibacy, or how do you pronounce it? Or we are not advocating like semen retention for years or even for months actually. It's very like, if you can do like semen retention maybe once a year for 30 days, you will already get super benefits in that regard. And when you get older, then you may want to do like longer cycles because this kind of thing can really like regenerate your like sexual life in very special way, I think. Because when you get older, you may have like erectile dysfunction problems and other problems with the sexual stuff. So especially when you get older, it becomes more and more important. Like when you're a teenager, it doesn't really matter like what you do because you have like unlimited like level of energy and like sexual energy and so on. But when you get older, it becomes more important. And the important thing is like that you don't waste your energy, because like after 3 years we can say like the pornography it's horrible for your energy, it's horrible for your like brain chemistry and horrible for your body as well. Like there's countless of studies of like pornography messing up with your like testosterone levels and dopamine levels and everything. Like it's one of the worst things you can do, especially if you like ejaculate like every day. Some people like 2 times per day.
Yeah.
Because you're like wasting you're wasting the testosterone, you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your dopamine levels, you're wasting everything. So what we are actually advocating is that let's take the waste away. Like you can still have sex with your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever, but just don't waste it. Like if you're a single guy, you should have no business like watching pornography and masturbating. Like it's not good. It's preventing your growth, it's preventing lots of other things. So what we are advocating is like just take the useless waste away and you will feel much better, you will get much stronger and everything will be better. And if you're like interested in this really monk-like spirituality, enlightenment and really calmness and like that, then you can like do abstinence for 1 year or 3 years or 4 years or your whole lifetime. So like some monks, they never have anything to do with sexuality anymore.
Yeah, and if there are some like really bad degenerative things or really you're injured, you have something that is really bothering your life, making it horrible, then it's very crucial that you keep this energy to yourself. And the thing about it is like we did, before we ever even, or I was doing at least, we were doing Qigong during this time when we stopped pornography. Like I didn't even know about it, that it was a thing, semen retention was a thing in Qigong. So doing that back then and stopping it, it's like you will notice very quickly within like a week or 2 weeks or something, you will notice energy that you probably haven't felt in almost ever, because you've been consuming this stuff, you've been addicted to something, bad habits. So it can make a tremendous change in your energy levels, like very, very quickly. So whether you're doing Qigong or not doing Qigong, this should be like very, very, or you should take this very seriously to try to get rid of these sort of addictions. And really, as someone said, you can go to the extremes with this, but that is not even needed to get the benefits. Just get rid of these negative, bad things that are really like sucking you out of the energy. That is the most important thing when it comes to the semen retention, not this sort of like compulsive restriction where you never have sex or something, you never ejaculate. But it's also, this is also in the Qigong. See, like one of the main parts when it comes to the accumulation of the sort of energy in the body, stimulating yourself, the hormones.
Yeah, and this kind of stuff, it's really highly developed in Qigong, like everything, and yeah, but that's
yeah, like this, I think already. These are the well, we didn't. I mean, we talked a lot about here just the internal things, because that's. I feel like that's really the primary new perspective that it gives. Of course, there is like the performance as well, and for example, the muscular development. Like some of the when we did first time the standing meditation, the first thing that you notice is that it's incredibly hard. Like one of the hardest, most mentally exhausting forms of training that I've ever done was the standing meditation, which many people don't understand because it also has the calming effect, but the stimulation that it gives to your muscles, it's also tremendous in the beginning when you're just getting into it. So that also just gives another element to it as well. So it's not just, although the major benefit is maybe the internal awareness, internal control over these internal processes of your body, it still gives, at least for me, it gave a lot of also just new exercises, new ways to develop the body. And for example, the standing meditation method that I'm talking about is in the Grand Circle, or it's called the Grand Circle, is the actual standing meditation. It's like, it's done in this very specific sequence of movements. Because you can just do like one stand and that's it. But it's done in this like sequence of stances that is genius at how it like manipulates the blood flow in your body and the whole pulse, the pumping of the blood of your heart. Like it's amazing because I've known about this standing meditation for a very long time, but through, for example, when we learned it with the Jiang Shan, I actually understood what it's really about and how those different postures come together and create that sort of very unique stimulation in the body. So that was also absolutely amazing. And it's like that's only the basic form of it. Then there's also the more like advanced applications that you add to this standing meditation. But it's not just the internal, but also there is the sort of performance side and the stimulation of the muscles that is also very unique, and it's something that can be done. This is something that I like about it actually, that many people also don't understand, that if you have, for example, problems or pains in your body, or you're older age and you cannot, for example, your body just is not in the shape that it can take a lot of high impact stress, and you cannot do this kind of stuff. The standing meditation is something that you can actually do, or almost all of these Qigong things, because they're very soft. They can be done no matter what shape your body is. Like you can have big restrictions in your body, and yet you can still use these methods to create an enormous amount of energy and still affect all of these processes in your body. And so this is something that I can see myself doing for decades and decades and decades until I'm very old, as a way to maintain a very strong body.
Yeah, I think for different things, it's like when you know like the Qigong sounds like the Qigong method, you have like a different toolbox with different tools for different purposes. For example, the Qigong, it's fighting Qigong, and it affects the mind and the body very differently. It's perfect for increasing testosterone and giving you like the proper mentality to work out, to fight, to compete, to do anything like that. But then you have the calming effects and so on. But yeah, in that regard, of course, I would say it's dominantly compared to like many like typical working out. It's dominantly like internal, but it also has really strong external benefits. I would say, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, because like you said, like for us it is maybe the biggest benefit was this, because we already have so much methods and tools to externally develop the muscles and the body. Like I said, Qigong gave a lot of new ideas for that, and a great really, like I said, like really genius and creative ideas for that. But it's still the most profound, I think, even to this day, is like, for example, the breathing. It is such I was just like talking about this breathing, for example, to just a while ago, to this person who was actually interested in our Qigong, and talk about how he has he feels like he has restricted breathing, he can't like breathe properly, and to understand really like what it does to your body. For example, just like as an example, if you can't breathe properly, like for example using the diaphragm, and you start using this like I think it's auxiliary or compensatory muscles in your body to do the breathing, because the main breathing is restricted. It means that you will start, for example, use muscles in your neck. You will start to like tense up muscles. You start to feel tightness and pain in your neck area, which also affects the blood flow, for example, to your brain. You can be in a permanent state of elevated stress hormones, stress levels in your body, because you're just constantly sending messages into your body that you're under stress, because you're breathing in a stressful manner. So if you look at this, like for example, how just profound it can be, if you have a messed up breathing pattern, you're constantly under some sort of agony without even knowing it. And then you're wondering like why you need to take this medicine or that medicine, or why do you want to drink so much coffee, or why do you crave for sugar and something, when the most sort of fundamental mechanism in your body, such as breathing, can be completely messed up. So the effects of this like Qigong are so concrete when you start to look at it in these mechanics, and how it really, what kind of role it plays inside the body. It's not something magical, it is sometimes very straightforward what it does. You know, we're talking about like getting oxygen into your body at the moment, so it's very like kind of on the ground as well. Like you can go, think about this like in this new course, we go to very deep, we go to very esoteric parts, and in Qigong, like you can go to very extreme lengths of it. But even the very first course that we created, like a health and fighting Qigong, like even just by doing the fundamentals, you're already getting the major part of the benefits, for at least that's how I feel, or a lot of it. So you don't even need to go to that super extreme and deep level, but it's also something that is available for those who are really into Qigong. And for me, it of course came as well, because I'm a professional trainer. I feel like I want to know about these things, but still you can also look at this spectrum of like Qigong, that there's the very deep and esoteric side that sounds perhaps sometimes woo, and then you have also very kind of clear things that can come out of it.
Yeah, the thing about the breathing, like how nowadays everyone does it, like they know the techniques, like some rhythmic breathing, like breathe 3 seconds in and 4 seconds out, and also like the Wim Hof, like the tumor breathing, where people like then they pass out sometimes. But like they know like this kind of like chemic techniques, it's actually work, and they have their place. But what most people don't know, they don't know how to actually open up the body for breathing. They don't know how to develop the muscles of breathing. They don't know how to like develop the breathing capacity further. They know like different techniques, like breathe 3 times like this and do this and that. Like they know like these secret techniques how to breathe, but they don't know how to actually develop the diagram and the breathing apparatus further. And this is, I think, one of the most like the crucial things what we learned from the Qigong, because before we learned like this, all these breathing techniques, like do this, like that, but we didn't know how to actually build the body for breathing, and that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, because it's quite a different thing to say to someone that take a deep breath, breathe deeply, and usually if you do say this to someone, it's like you're just saying breathe deeply. The person will not be able to do it or do it in the proper manner. Like just saying, you know, breathe deeply or count the seconds of your breath, this is not enough. You need to be very aware of the mechanics and the musculature that actually does the breathing and the different anatomical parts that are in the breathing. So you can actually use them like to your benefits. This is also one of the things that I've noticed, for example, now if I'm training and I'm able to just maintain my performance like so much better, there comes the point where normally I would have kind of probably already stopped because I couldn't get the energy and I couldn't fire up myself when I'm doing the exercise. So now it's like every time I go to training, every single time I'm training breathing, because it has come a natural part of basically everything, and I'm able to boost up my performance in the middle of doing the training. And this is also something that I was already focused on even before again the Qigong. I had like breathing patterns for training, but it was not on the level, not even close to the level that opened up through the Qigong.
And sometimes like the breathing is almost like the major thing you're developing in the workout sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like it sometimes.
True.
Because it really brings the body alive, it brings the spirit alive, it brings everything just alive. Because when I look at like the most trainers, most like practitioners who don't do this kind of training, they are so tight. Like it's like the body is like in a prison. It's in a cage.
Yeah.
And they can be super flexible and super strong, but when they move, the body is not like breathing at all. It's not like the body is not like alive at all. It's like the entire like the midsection is just so tight.
It is.
But then they can do like all this kind of amazing stuff, but still they're missing like one of the main elements of being alive.
It's like I like to say, like for example, you're breathing life into the posture that you're doing. Like that's how it feels like in Qigong when you do, for example, even just like movement Qigong, like the Buddhist Qigong, which is like Baduan Qigong. From the first course, when you breathe into it, it feels like you're really making it like radiate or alive, the whole posture. It's like it's just not the same if you don't synchronize the breathing with the movements. But the thing that you said, like what most people you can see the rigidness, because before I couldn't see it, like because I was also more rigid. I was part of it. I didn't know about it. So now that I've opened up the breathing, and I can see even people who teach about breathing, and I look at them, wow, they're still tight. Like they don't really know even properly, the breathing instructors don't always know what they're talking about. And this is something that I couldn't see before. Now I can see like very clearly when people are too tight and restricted and they just don't have the mobility here in the midsection. And it's interesting because this just tells you that the mere superficial knowledge of breathing is not enough. It's not enough, and the techniques of like the rhythmic breathing or something or whatever, it's not enough to really develop this machinery. It requires very conscious focus and something that you start to actually do in everything. You start to do it when you're walking, when you're running, when you're lifting weights. The breathing is something that you can really do for everything, and it's also something that really allows you to stimulate different mental states in your body. It allows you to relax, to create the state of recovery and regeneration, which from where everything also starts to happen. This is the most important part. You know, when you train hard, you need to be able to bring yourself down for health and recovery.
So for me, like like for me, Qigong is dominantly like kind of like health practice and performance enhancing practice. Like it has like taken over like everything else. Like no medication, no supplements, nothing. Only Qigong and only like the Qigong cycles, and that's it. Like I don't need anything else. Of course, if I get a problem with some really specific problem, then I consult the Western medicine and probably fix it like that. But very likely it will never happen because I just feel so much healthier now than ever before. And then I combine the Qigong with my regular working out, like the 20xx programs, and then it's like the perfect combination. It's like the most internal thing you can do, like the hormones, endocrine system, the brain chemistry, emotions, everything. I combine that with the most sophisticated and the most developed, like the workout methods. So together it's like the perfect, because then it's the West and the East and the like, yeah, then I get the best of the both worlds.
Yeah, I think like you ultimately what we also emphasize, and like we talk about just not being dependent, like not being dependent on the industry of drugs or medication or something. Yes, you know, there may come a need for it at some point. If it's some very severe thing that is threatening your life, then you need to use this, and it's good that it's there. But just ultimately that you have the mastery of your own body. Like you have the authority, and it's very empowering when you actually know how you just start to understand how much you have power to influence these things in your body. So for me, this has been like always. It has always been there. Like in the very start, when I even started to pay attention to diet, or my eating, that was the first thing I realized, that I can actually affect so many things already just by changing what I eat. I can affect. So Qigong, it really complements the thing and the path that where we've been already going for many years. It just brings, it really complements it in such a great manner. Like somebody also mentioned, doing together with the other training programs that we have, the 20xx series, it just creates a very nice harmony in the methods through which we sort of control our life to just be healthier and have a better performance and just be able to do
and maximize potential.
Maximizing the potential, exactly.
Yeah, and especially like, because for me, like the Qigong, like the mental health is very important, but also the physical health. So like recently, like the medication you take for mental health, like depression, anxiety, like these are super dangerous stuff. Like Jordan Peterson, he was like on this like antidepressants or something like that for several years, and then he quits. And then he almost dies because of the withdrawals. He goes to coma, and then for 1 year he's like,
yeah,
just from the medication. So like you should be very cautious. Like of course you're like, maybe some people who are like almost ready to kill themselves, maybe then you can take the. But of course this is not medical advice. But I personally try to avoid all of this stuff, because the first thing is that yes, it works in the moment, but it also makes you dependent on the drug.
Yeah.
And when you try to like get your power back, it's almost impossible, because these people, when they talk about the withdrawals, like it's almost impossible to get off some of these drugs. Like it's worse than like coke or heroin or something like that. And even if you do quit, then it's for 1 year or 2 years of like severe withdrawal symptoms where you like barely exist at all. So that's why I avoid this stuff like completely. I never want to touch it. I never want to. If there's a natural way, I pick that one.
Yeah, because there's always the counter reaction. Like, you know, a lot of the stuff that is going in our body is based on it regulates itself like through this, you know, like feedback loops and something, and you put some substance into your body, some artificially made substance into your body. You pump it up with something to manipulate your feelings and moods or something. It will have a counter reaction, you know, and Unless, you know, it means that you just need to keep taking it, keep taking, and keep making everything worse. And there will be very severe consequences, of course, into your body when you do this. So even if you decide to use some of these more unnatural methods, you need to understand the risks. And this can be something like someone explained. They can actually sometimes nearly kill you, because the withdrawals and something like this is nothing to be playing with. So.
And the worst part is actually that over time the effectiveness goes down, and the negative side effects goes up. So then you need to take another drug to counterbalance the negative effects and then get the positive effects. So you're like just tackling one drug and then another drug and the third drug, and it's like a lifelong subscription that's really expensive as well. With these methods, when you learn this, it's free for the rest of your life. You can take care of your mental health and physical health for free for the rest of your life. Of course, the knowledge is not cheap when it's highly developed and very hard to find. But after that, you are not dependent on anything. You have the power, the authority to keep yourself healthy and to avoid future problems.
I think it's funny when Jen Yushan, our master, sometimes says when you learn a Qigong form, then he says well, now this form is yours and no one can take it away from you. And then it's very describing in this matter. You learn these methods and then they're yours. You don't need to. Then it's there. You can use them anytime you feel like. When you wake up, when you go to bed during the day, it's there for you to use and enhance your life in a manner that doesn't destroy it during the process. It doesn't take away anything from you. And this is, I think, what the Qigong has given.
Yeah, it's something I have learned in the past few years. I can use until I'm 80 or 90 or 100 years old and still get the benefits and still, I think that's the most amazing thing. Because you can actually you are in control.
You're in control and you can always find an alternative.
Yeah.
So, this was a long speech about everything. I really wanted to give you some concrete examples because it is very concrete, I think, the benefits that he has given, and also give you these examples of the the Western counterparts and even the studies that have because these effects, I believe that in the coming years it will be just more and more evident, or they will even prove the many effects that the Qigong has claimed for these thousands of years to be actually true, even through these studies. And so just go and see it for yourself, try it out. That's all I can say, because the effects you can notice very quickly by yourself. So you don't need to take our words, you don't need to listen to the scientific studies, you can just experience all the benefits by yourself as well.
Yes.
That's it. Take care, guys. Stay strong.